Can you share with us one wrong choice you made in your relationship that you wish you had known better and why? And while answering the question, you can give us your final remark as we close.
Okay. So if I should answer your question honestly, two, 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 so 2 or 3 months ago, I was having a conversation with a friend, and and the subject of that conversation was, what would you have done differently if you were to rethink relationship and all of that? And what I said to him is what I'm going to say here, is that if I knew what I know now, and I thought about it well, and I want to live that freedom-centered life that I know now, most likely I'll not be married by now. Most likely I won't marry at all. The reason is simple. Marriage is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Daily you are faced with the need to be there for someone, the need to abandon your agenda because of another person, because of a child, because of this, because of that. Daily you have your expectations not being met. Daily you are heartbroken because this thing did not go the way you want it, that did not go the way you want it. Because one of the things I've come to realize is that really and truly, there's no one perfect person. So the person will be great in some ways, but would also give you problems in some other ways. A wife that is very homely in taking care of the home front might not be so aspirational and driven about life. The one that is so aspirational and driven about life might not send you. So the peck goes this way and that way. So take for instance, I've been married for close to 6 years now, and within that space of time, I've had one complaint at one time or another complaint at another time. For some of those things, I've learned how to manage my expectations. So because the question is, like I always say, if I feel like my marriage has become a major stopper to what I want to achieve in life, I don't have any problem bouncing out of it, right? That's the truth. I don't have any problem bouncing out of it. But right now, it's still serving my purpose in a number of ways. It's not serving my purpose in a number of ways, but it's serving my purpose in a whole lot of other ways. Do you understand? So it is always putting this thing on a scale. And for me, one of the things I say to people at the end of the day is that all of our decisions must come from the lens of our goals. What are you trying to achieve in time? And through that lens of what you're trying to achieve, use it to judge every other thing. My perception about life and a lot of things. I was having a conversation with my wife like 2 weeks ago that if something should happen to me today, that is likely, say they should just say I have cancer, and the first 2-3 attempts don't cure it, and personally goes to tell the doctor, please, mercy kill it. I don't have time for a lot of things in this life. Do you understand? But again, my own ideology, you can't use it for every other person because that's who I am. And I am proud of who I am as of today. If I find something that's not working, I'll change it by tomorrow. Trust me. Right. So for me, if I had my way, because I think so, one of the things I learned in 2019 to 2020 is the conscience of traveling light. That if you want to travel fast, if you want to go fast in life, you need to travel light. So, and that kind of dropping every weight, every unnecessary weight. Now, the only weight that you cannot just drop is weight of family. Do you understand? By the time you get married and then you now have kids, right? The truth of the matter is that you have the choice of abandoning your kids too. You have that choice. But of course, you know that every action and action carries its own consequences. You understand? So I'm not going to stay with my kids because society says that I should stay with them. No, I'm going to stay with them because I believe by myself that that's the right thing to do. And it's advancing my agenda because it's the way I think about it, right? So I see the same way. So the way the institution of marriage for me, I think is the first platform that God really gives anybody to live a life of significance. Because the agenda of God will be advanced by one generation impacting the coming generation, by one generation impacting the coming generation, by one generation impacting the coming generation, so that the coming generation are better positioned to advance God's agenda. So I think about it like the family is the first platform that gives anybody, either man or woman, as your first platform of impacting the next generation. So the reason why I'm going to be there for my kids is not because I'm just their father, but it's because I see it as a platform of impacting a generation that will further drive the agenda of God and that will move humanity to where it's supposed to be. So that, by the time I'm gone, people will be able to say, Bolu lived a good life. And not just people, but the first set of people. You know that scripture that says that through the gospel, but you first of all have to start for Samaria. Your own Samaria is your first nuclear family, be it your siblings or your wife or your kids. So I'm not going to do. See, a lot of things I do, it might be consistent with societal position, but I'm not doing them because of what the society says. I'm doing them because I have queried them and I've gotten my own understanding and my own explanation that works for me. So if something else comes that shakes what the society is saying, it will not shake me because my own position is based on my own thinking and my own ideology. The same way in Christianity, they say, know God for yourself. That's the same way my parting word for anybody here is that query your values, query your beliefs, and let them be your own. Not the ones that you borrowed from your parents, not the ones that you borrowed from the society. But whenever anybody asks you a question as to why you have a certain belief, don't let your explanation be because that was what was told to you. Let it be because you have queried it and then you have your own reason that back that statement up. I was in a place, I was conducting a strategy session for a particular organization, and I'm going to close it. And then, we're talking about what are your value systems. And I told them, I'm sorry, integrity and honesty, they are not part of my value system. And I said, it's true. I said, I'm not saying I'm dubious, but integrity and honesty, they are not part of my own value system. Why? I understand what those words mean in themselves, and I'm not sure I can consistently live my life that way. We all violate integrity every day, and yet you keep saying that integrity is your value. If something is your value, that means that is what drives you. Some of us, the values people say they are aspirational values. They are not what your values are today. So I know my own values. They are based on my own query and my questioning and my conclusions based on my answer. So my parting word to everybody here today is that as a man, emphasis on, of course, as a woman too, but most importantly, as a man who will sit in different position of leadership, either in your family, in your workplace, in wherever you find yourself, please ensure that your beliefs are based on critical thinking. I say this way, until we begin to apply consciousness to unconsciousness, we have not started living. So that is my parting word for everybody here. Have I made mistakes? I've made lots of mistakes in my relationship, but I think the most important thing is that if I was given another chance, I would not marry until I'm 40 or 45, or I would not even marry at all, because I believe that by that time I would have been able to run solo, run fast, achieve a lot, and then I can begin to carry the weight of family, because family get plenty weight. Do you understand? So if there's anything, I think now with the benefit of hindsight, I would have done that. And the second thing is, whatever decision you are making, be sure that it is based on your own understanding of who you want to be and the values that you have as a person. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. I mean, there are so many things you have said. I have to go back to this session and just listen all over again, because every word has its own, carries its own weight. Thank you so much for your knowledge. Mr. David, your closing remark.
Okay. All right. So we've said a lot. I appreciate the speakers, and so I think going forward, what we should seek as humans is knowledge, and not just knowledge, balance. So balanced knowledge. So there are a lot of things that people know. There are a lot of ideologies. There are a lot of information out there, but I think a lot of those things, they lack balance. So in closing, because of time, I'm also watching the time because I have in 3 minutes I'm supposed to be in another training. So I think people should seek for balanced knowledge. That's my closing remark. Thank you very much for inviting me, and all the best. God bless you.